Good morning, students. Today we are going to see Standard 8 Civics, Chapter number 6, Bureaucracy. In this, District Collector's orders curfew, Municipal Commissioner presents the budget, Finance Secretary resigns, Divisional Commissioner will review the revenue collection. In the above box, a few posts like a district collector, municipal commissioner, finance secretary, and divisional commissioners are mentioned. These are civil servants in the government's administrative system. You might be thinking, what are their functions? In the chapter which explains the role of the Union Executive, we learn that the Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers make proposals for new laws and also decide upon policies. Bureaucracy in the administrative system, which works under the Union Executive and has the responsibility of actual implementation of government's policies. In this chapter, we will understand the importance of bureaucracy as what are the work of district collector, municipal commissioner, finance secretary and divisional commissioner that are mentioned in the box which is given here. District collector's orders curfew, municipal commissioner presents the budget, finance secretary resigns and divisional commissioner will review the revenue collection. This is the work which is done by this departments. So these are known as civil servants or in the government's administrative system. So in this lesson we are going to see what is the role of Union Executive, Prime Minister, Council of Ministers that they propose and their proposals of new laws and how it become a law that we are going to see in this chapter, and what is the importance of bureaucracy in our life that we are going to see. In any country, the government carries out two fundamental types of functions to defend the country from external aggression and internal threats. So, first fundamental types of function is to defend the country, means to protect our country from the external aggregation. External aggregation means from the outsiders, and also to protect our country from the internal matters. If any internally in our country, if any matter arises, so to protect our public, this is the duty of the government. And it is the fundamental duty. Second, to provide various services to citizens and ease their daily lives which enable them to develop themselves and the society. So, as a citizen, various services to the citizens easily and to make their daily life easy and happy and to develop themselves, to make these opportunities available for the society is the fundamental duty of our government. The first function is to ensure security of the country. So from the first function, what we can come to know that we have to ensure the security of the country. This is carried out by the service called the armed forces. So who will protect our country? The armed forces will protect the country. The role of internal security is carried out as aid to civil authority. For the second function, an administrative system is developed. We call it the civil services. The system of civil servants is also known as bureaucracy. So, the civil services, we call it the civil services, to which the second function, that to provide various services to citizens and ease their daily lives which enable them to develop themselves and the society. So this is the second type of function which administrative system have to develop, and we call it as civil services. And also this type of civil servants is also known as bureaucracy. In parliamentary democracy, representatives elected by the people and the ministers have the responsibility of administration. So here in parliamentary democracy, representatives are elected by the people and the minister have the responsibility to administrate the representatives. The functions of government are discharged by various departments. So the work is divided among the government, and according to that departments, the work is carried out in our country. Every department has a minister who is the political head of that department. So every department have a minister, and that minister will have few persons under his work. So the persons will work under that minister, and that department will be different. As a representative of people, the minister has to carry out the work of the department by giving priority to public welfare. So whatever the work will be divided between these ministers, they have to do that work properly and for the public. Also, their work is to give the priority to public welfare activities. The minister may not be expert in a particular subject, but she is conscious of broad public interest. The secretary of department gives expert advice to the minister. The secretaries are appointed from the civil service. The aspiration of the people and the administrative expertise are thus put in harmony in the parliamentary system. So, under this, the minister may not be expert in particular subject, but he or she is conscious of broad public interest. Means maybe he is not expert in a particularly concept, but the person who is going to be a minister, whether he will be a man or whether he will be whether he will be a woman, but what is important, that he should work for the public interest. And the secretary of the department gives expert advice to the ministers. So this is the duty of the secretary, to give the advice to the ministers. And the secretaries are appointed by the civil services, and according to it, the people and administrative expertise are thus put in the harmony in the parliamentary system. So the management will be done in a proper way, and no any issues will be created, and the work will be done in a proper way and in a systematic manner. Let's see what are the characteristics of bureaucracy. Permanent mechanism, tax collection, environment protection, maintenance of law and order, provisions regarding social security are certain important tasks that have to be consistently undertaken by the bureaucracy. So this is the work which is done by under the bureaucracy, that is tax collection, environment protection, maintenance of law and order in society, provision regarding social security. These are all the important tasks which is carried out under the bureaucracy. This is possible because bureaucracy is a permanent mechanism. As it is, whatever it will be given for the permanent system. So it is known as permanent mechanism. The Prime Minister and their Council of Ministers change after every election, but the bureaucracy under their control remains constant. It is permanent in nature. So as what? The Prime Ministers will change, Council of Ministers will change, but the bureaucracy will be constant. So it is a permanent in nature. Political neutrality. The bureaucracy is politically neutral. This means that regardless of the political party in power, the bureaucracy is supposed to carry out the implementation of their policy decisions with the same efficiency and commitment. So under the political neutrality, the bureaucracy it means that regardless of the political party in power of the bureaucracy is supposed to carry out the implementation of their policy decisions. Means whatever the decisions will be taken, it should be by the side of bureaucracy, by the side of people's welfare activities. No any political pressures should be taken on it. So political neutrality should be maintained. Means it should be equal. So the decisions which will be taken for the public will be good. In this regard, the civil servants should abstain from taking a political stand or act according to their political views. So, as they are political, but while working for the public, they have to be work as a civil servant, and no any political stand should be taken under the. If a political party fails to win election, it has to leave government and another party that wins election comes to power. So, if any political party, it cannot stand for a long time. So, in that situation, if the party fails and the other party wins, the winning election or winning party have to take over the power and to work the government, and the remaining one, the fails party, have to leave the government and another party have to, which will win, they have to take the power of the government. The new government may change some policies of the early government. So if they find that some policies are not working properly, in that case the new party can change the policies. Even in such case, the bureaucracy is expected to remain neutral while discharging its duties. So this time also the bureaucracy have to stand neutral, because we are thinking about the public's welfare. We are working for public. The government is working for public. So bureaucracy will not change. It will be neutral. Just only the duties will be changed. Anonymity. Anonymity means that a civil service should not be held directly responsible for any success or failure of policy. If any policy which is given by government, if it will work or it will not work, so it will not be overburdened on the civil services. So it is not the responsibility of the civil services directly, because some policies it will work in a proper way and some policies it will fail according to the public interest. So no one will be responsible for it. It is the minister who is responsible for the efficient and smooth functioning of the concerned departments. So the minister have to look after that. Whatever the work is divided between them, it should be in a proper way, and it should function in a proper way, and it should be by the side of the public. It is the minister who is the head, as the head of that department is accountable for any inefficiency. If any situation arises, the minister have to speak or have to give the answer for the question if any mischief happens. Civil servants are never publicly criticized. The parliament holds the minister responsible for malpractices. If the civil servants are never publicly criticized, they never make a direct contact with the public, just they give orders and the other one have to work on. The parliament holds the minister responsible for malpractices. If any situation or any thing happens wrong, in that situation the minister will be responsible. In such case, the minister bears the responsibility and protects the bureaucracy, and in that situation the minister have to take the responsibility and he have to try to protect the bureaucracy. Significance of Indian bureaucracy. The structure of the Indian bureaucracy is extensive and complex. Several important reforms that were introduced during the post-independence period have been effectively implemented by the bureaucratic structure. So, as after the independence, after the post-independence period, it had been effectively implemented by the bureaucratic structure, and according to that, the government is working. Today, we see many positive social changes reaching to a common people. These changes have been brought by Indian bureaucracy by implementing the policies made by the government. So, as we see, many changes are taking place in our social life, and government is also changing day by day. The policies are changing. So, due to which, this is due to the bureaucracy, Indian bureaucracy. Bureaucracy gives stability to the political system. Water supply, public cleanliness, transport, electricity, public cleanliness, health, agricultural reforms, prevention of pollution, and such other services are everyday needs of the people and need to be constantly provided to them. So these all are the services which are related to our day-to-day life. Water supply, public cleanliness, transport, electricity, public cleanliness, health, agricultural reforms, prevention of pollution and such other services. These are the need of the public. So it should be constantly provided to the public. This brings stability in Just a minute. Stability in the day-to-day life of the people. So, our day-to-day life, it brings a stability between our life, so that every time we should not have to change our policies, or we should not face any trouble in our day-to-day life. Secondly, it is important to understand that bureaucracy is an important instrument of social transformation. The laws enacted by the government for employment, empowerment of women, child security, plans for the marginalized section are implemented by the bureaucracy. So as what? Every section of the life, every section of the public should be feel secured in our social life or under our government rules and regulations. So it is the duty under the bureaucracy that each woman, child and the marginalized sections should come implemented in the bureaucracical system. Social change is brought through the implementation of such policies. So few policies are allotted for women's, child and marginalized sections, through which by using that policies their life can be made more easier and safer. The bureaucracy also plays an important role in the democratization of society. Marginalized section of society have been brought into mainstream by implementing the reservation policy. Their participation has been increased in the process of decision-making. Democratization of society not only requires progressive laws and policies, it also needs to effective participation of bureaucracy. So as what? Under the democratization, under this, the policy is just not reserved for some people, but it is that it should be brought into mainstream by implementing the reservation policies, so that each and every person can take the benefit of all these policies. So participation is needed in bureaucracy. Types of civil services. In India, there are three main streams of civil services. All India services is the first one. They include the Indian Administrative Service, that is IAS, Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, IPS, and Indian Forest Service, IFS. IAS, IPS and IFS. In day-to-day life, many times we hear this type of words, that I want to be a IAS, I want to be IPS officer, and I want to be a IFS. So these are the services of the government which are allotted under the civil services, as IAS, Indian Administrative Service, IPS, Indian Police Service, and IFS, Indian Forest Service. Union or central services. They come under the union government. They include Indian Foreign Services, IFS, Indian Foreign Services. So under the union or central services, IFS and IRS, these are the two services which is provided under the union government. The first one, IFS, means Indian Foreign Services, and IRS means Indian Revenue Services. And many other services are which will come under the union government. Next one is state civil services. They come under the state government. They include Deputy District Collector, Block Development Officer, Tahsildar, Executive Magistrate, etc. They are recruited through competitive examination held at the state level. So under the state level, competitive exams will be conducted, and according to it, if that person cracks the exam, it will be allotted as a district collector or deputy district collector or block development officer or tahsildar. Indian Constitution has established autonomous institutions like the Public Service Commission to ensure that the civil servants are selected on the basis of criteria of merit and efficiency. So the civil public service commissions exams should be conducted, and under it the public service commissions, the merit will be allotted, and according to that criteria, according to their efficiency, the person will be selected. The Union Public Service Commission, UPSC. The Union Public Service Commission means UPSC conducts examination for requirement and appointment of candidates For all India service and central services, the Maharashtra Public Service Commission MPSC, about UPSC and MPSC, many times you can get the information from newspapers, and many times you will get information from the TVs or radio channels, that some people are selected in MPSC exam, some people are selected in UPSC exam. The Maharashtra Public Service Commission MPSC selects candidates through competitive examination and recommends them to the government to be recruited in the state administration. So under the state administration, MPSC exams are conducted, UPSC exams are conducted, so that according to it the services will be provided by a perfect person, or a person who is able to handle that situation, so that our state administration can work properly. In order to provide opportunities to all sections of society to enter in bureaucracy and civil services, there is a provision for reservation for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, women, other backward caste, and specially abled. So, as each and every person should get a chance to be a member of administration, of Indian administration. So, the opportunities are provided to all sections in the bureaucracy under the civil services. Here all scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, women's, other backward caste and special abled persons are kept as a reserve seats. This provision ensures that weaker section of the society are not left out of civil services due to social inequality. So under the social inequality, the work under this weaker sections should be provided, and no any person should be left to be a member of a society, or to call it as a member of our country. So a social equality will be maintained, and no any person will feel inequality in the society. Minister and secretaries. The efficiency of a particular government department depends upon the interrelationship between the minister and department secretaries and deputy secretaries. The decisions relating to the department are made by concerned minister, but necessary information to make such decision is given by the civil servants. Civil servants, meaning bureaucracy, has complete control over information. It is the civil servant who knows the financial provision for a particular scheme or plan. Civil servants are aware of the history of success and failures of policies. Hence, ministers are dependent upon the civil servants. If ministers maintain a dialogue with civil servants and develop mutual trust and transparency, it will help the departments. So under the ministers and secretaries, this is the important part. And a particular government have departments depends on the internal relationship between the ministers and department of the secretaries and the deputy secretaries. If the relation is good, then the government will work in a good and in a well manner. If the departments will not work properly, if they're in between them, if no any cooperation is between them, so the problems will arise and the social benefit to the society will be not provided in a better way. So the decisions relating to the department are made by the concerned ministers, but necessary information to make such decisions is given by the civil servants. So civil servants, meaning bureaucracy, has complete control over information. Hence, under this bureaucracy, that a complete control is given to that person. Financial provisions for a particular scheme or plan is one of the duty of civil servant. Civil servants are aware of the history of success and failures of the policies, how the policies are gaining success or which policies are becoming failure. This type of information the ministers have to be taken, and the civil servants have to keep the record of it. So it will be helpful to provide a better opportunities for the social life of the public. Ministers have to maintain the dialogue with civil servants and develop mutual trust and transparency between them. So it will be helpful to keep a healthy environment between the government and between the departments. So in this way, we had completed the last chapter of civics, bureaucracy. Complete the given exercise and read the taught content. That's all for today. Thank you.